Hello everybody and welcome back to Shadow Empire, where we are playing as the Salic Federation. Last episode we took the city of Willemgoo. We are kind of stalled out here, but Hushtat is being squeezed from the other side by the Reichsfeld Imperium, which is pushing in, which the Reichsfeld Imperium is also pushing in on Primdor, which may be dead soon. I don't know where their capital is, but I'm assuming it's pretty dead. Because if we check the map here, Primdor is this small area, so yeah, I think they're gone. The Colding Domain and the Imperium kind of squeezed them out. We also need to take care of this Theocratic Empire minor soon once we deal with these guys. So, I mean, yeah, that's the current situation. We might make peace with them at this point, but we do have a mission to take their capital city, so that's probably going to be a thing soon. But yeah, we got air power in the mix now. The arachnids are actually fighting us to a standstill. And we're upgrading the logistics capacity of all of our forces here to try and, I guess, make it a bit easier to persecute this war. And we've also begun upgrading some of our standard our infantry brigades into corps, because we have upgraded the 1st Infantry Brigade into the 1st Infantry Corps. So that'll be siphoning some of our resources for the next couple of turns while it kind of gets up to strength. And the northern line is basically fully manned. There's a couple of stragglers that need to get onto the line, but other than that, it's pretty well manned. So yeah, that's where we're at. We also have some air power over up north here, which will help kind of deal with these red lizard dogs. So yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go to the next turn and see what happens. What was I talking about last time? Oh, RPGs and running RPGs that have a lot of canon to them, especially with fans of the canon. So that's like a big problem with Game of Thrones, the Expanse RPG, just a lot of RPGs that are based in The Witcher RPG. It's another good one. The Witcher less so. See, ones that have a very defined timeline, a very defined canon, are very specific with a lot of detail, they're hard. The Witcher, not so much. There's a lot of blurriness on the edges of the Witcher canon that you can use to fill out a campaign in. There's a reason why, like, Warhammer, even though it has so much lore to it, is so easy to run an RPG campaign in. Because there's just so much there that nobody knows about. You know, they could be going concurrently with like a major campaign event or a major canon event, like the Dark Imperium, like when the Imperium gets split after the 13th Black Crusade destroys Cadia. Spoilers. That's super easy to kind of just say, oh, well, our game takes place you know, 1,000 years before that, and it doesn't really change anything because it's been so stagnant for so long. So I mean, it's very easy to do that, and the same thing with the Warhammer fantasy battles. There's so much history there. There's so much time that you can fit a campaign in that it doesn't really matter. Time spans are so big. But with something like the Expanse, like you've got a year between like major events, and then once that year's up, like you're getting some, like, I don't want to spoil the books, but you're getting some like major paradigm shifting events that change the entire world's kind of flow and canon. And the same thing with the Game of Thrones. I mean, the Game of Thrones RPG is a little easier because it's set during Robert's reign, not so after Robert's Rebellion, and I think after the Greyjoy Rebellion. So you've got a lot of years to kind of play around with, but you can't really do like major things. Like again, you have to have a kind of a medium scale campaign. You can't have something where you're getting together humongous armies and, you know, sieging down King's Landing unless you have a GM who's very dedicated to changing a lot of canon. And that can be a thing that takes people out of enjoying the campaign because they like the canon and they like the setting, and if the setting gets changed too much, then it's not really that setting anymore. It's like a fan fiction setting at that point. So it's hard to run that. Stargate, though, I think Stargate's a very interesting one because Stargate is although it has defined time, the thing is that you're playing a game that's gonna have a medium to small kind of scope because you're an SG team. So you're not going to be able to change, you know, you're not going to be able to gather humongous armies, things like that. It's kind of built in to be a small scale campaign, which works. So it's a lot easier to run like Stargate. Stargate is a lot easier to run The Witcher because there's so much time in The Witcher that's just not logged or anything like that. The Witcher canon is super, like, it's like Swiss cheese with how much open space there is between canonical events within the novels and the games. So you can kind of do whatever you want, and it'll still kind of fit. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to run, like I would love to run, and Jovian Chronicles is another one that the setting doesn't really have a defined like something that happens after a certain amount of time, but it's very set. It's very detailed. It's a super detailed setting, which makes it hard for you to kind of change things in it, and make it seem natural, which is a problem. So yeah, I've been kind of trying to figure out a way of running Jovian Chronicles or running The Expanse. They'll have kind of the same feel in terms of the settings, except Jovian Chronicles will be a bit more combat focused because it could be. That's another thing. I love sandbox games, but I also hate them because there's just so much you can do in them. Okay. What do we got? Sabotage, and what do we got? Investigate who the saboteur is. Failure. Marauders, give you my full support to deal with them. Critical success, cool. Alright, public budget. Give you 300 credits, why not? Worker salary, 16. Recruit sign up. Do that. Like a decent amount of recruits per turn. Fine. Send envoys to promote us. Success. All right. What do we got? One thing, troop replenishments. So that's taking a lot. They're getting filled out. Cool. So, let's see what we got here. They pulled back. No retreat. There's all their AA. What do we do? That is a single battalion who's got all-out attack, so we need to deal with them because they're dangerous. I'm gonna move the line up a little bit. How do we want to knock you out? Who do we want to target? Hit these guys. That's 2 heavy RPG battalions and the 1st Armored Battalion. We knock them out. We've got ourselves a decent chunk of their combat power whittled down. There goes 2 tanks. Alright, got some armor knocked out though. That's good. That weakens them. Air attack. Oh yeah, 2. Ooh. So what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 destroyed. That's what we need. More of that. More of that, please. Water purification gives us more water. Wouldn't be bad. Solar field, already got that. Industry. More industry would always be good. Let's put down some VidCom station or bureaucratic offices. Put some offices here, kind of increase this city and its capabilities. Okay. Let's get out of the city here. Okay. Could not attack that even if I wanted to. It's just too much anti-aircraft in one spot. And what are these? Are these tank destroyers? Okay. Tank destroyers and heavy RPG infantry. Construct logistics. Got a decent rail station. Cannot upgrade our truck station anymore. So we could upgrade the rail station, increase the ability to push things out. Construct a railhead out this far. Okay, so you got rails going all the way out this way, down here, out there. Logistics, got a truck station. Guarantee truck range, generate truck range, and truck logistics points from this asset. What does a rail? So railhead makes maglev points. This makes a little bit. Okay. Make a railhead there, why not? And then, so borders give you a little area here. Okay. So we got that. Truck station will be almost done. How about getting these guys on the line? And there we go. Northern border with, or the northern front with Brunmark is finished. Light Infantry Corps. Alright, well, they're getting upgraded. Grunts 3. Mass upgrade. Same OHQ to Grunts 4. One unit. Mass upgrade. All units in the same SHQ. No. Not enough. Okay, well, can deal with that later. They have got a lot of RPG units scattered around here. Help against armor, which they're dealing with a lot of. Not by us. We're more of a mixed motorized and non-motorized infantry force. We need to look into maybe making more tanks. Whole units of tanks. Can we even do that? Raise maybe a brigade of tanks. Brigade of light armor. Brigade of armor. Of which we do have the ability to. You have the ability to make a core of armor? No. Not far off, though. Let's go ahead and let's make a brigade. Brigade of armor. I forget what the solid is. Is the solid the next level medium tank we built? I think it is. I think we're good. Got plenty of troops, plenty of everything else. Don't use SHQ troops. Just build everything from the stocks. Okay, I think we're good. Raise. Solid. Assault gun. That's what it is. Okay. First Armor Brigade is an assault gun. Alright. Shit, how do we fix that? Replace. Replace. Replenish. Armor. Yeah, we wanted the all-rounders. Make 100 of those. Guess we'll have to do that next turn. Okay, well, that's not great, but oh well. Let's go to the next turn and see what happens. Should have double-checked that before I did anything. Oh well. So, something else to talk about. Started a new book series. I didn't finish any ones that I'm currently working on, but I started a new one because I don't know. Just this is the perpetual thing that all people who read books get into. You never finish a series, you just start another one. Well, you sometimes finish the series, but most of the time you're starting new ones, so you never actually decrease the amount of series you're working on at the same time. Yeah, started listening to, because I like listening to audiobooks while I'm painting or doing housework or stuff like that. I can just have it on. When I'm driving is actually one that I do a lot, is when I'm driving I listen. Because I finished the second book in the Shadow Campaigns book series. So what was that? The Shadow Throne, I think, or whatever. It was very good. On recommendation of a friend. When I told him about that, he's a history buff, but he also likes just reading in general. He went ahead and recommended me, I forget the author's name, actually. I'd look it up, but the guy who made the Powder Mage series, but not the Powder Mage original trilogy. It was the sequel series. So I picked that up like a couple of months back, thinking, I'll eventually take a look at it. But I decided I wanted to, because I'm like this, before I went ahead and got into that, I was just gonna start the actual Powder Mage series, because I think it's 3 books, and I think there's a lot of context and stuff I'd be missing if I didn't start with that. So yeah, went ahead and that was not a good attack for us. But yeah, started that series up and been enjoying it so far. Quite a bit. I think I'm on chapter 5, I think. I don't know. I'm a couple hours in. And I'm liking it. I'm liking the series. I'm liking the magic system seems kind of cool. I know there's an RPG for it. I know there's a role-playing game that you can, for the Powder Mage, series, which could be kind of fun. It's a weird idea of, just, magically attuned individuals that have a connection with gunpowder, and gunpowder is this substance that doesn't have a presence in the magical realm, which I think is called the Else, I think, in the series. That's a interesting idea, honestly. And I like non-standard fantasy settings. It's probably the reason why my book that I'm writing is a fantasy book, but in a non-standard fantasy setting. The Witcher's kind of cool. The Witcher's, for the most part, is a standard fantasy setting, but it also has the elements of early Renaissance mixed in there. There's a lot of that, and there's also the Warhammer Fantasy is another good example, because that has elements of the Renaissance, pretty hard in there. I mean, there's gunpowder and stuff, but it's still a pretty high fantasy, high magic setting. So that's cool. The Powder Mage one it seems it is. It's Flintlock era. So, especially in the first book so far, it feels very much like French Revolution kind of era, which is interesting. I like the idea. I like that setting. I like it a lot. And the same thing with the Shadow Campaign series, is that it's a fantasy novel, but it's a Flintlock and fantasy. So let's just say I like the Flintlock and fantasy setting quite a bit, just in general. I'm assuming the turn's over at this point. There we go. Killed 10 tanks, lost 1,100 infantry, 70 motorized, 10 tanks. It wasn't a good trade. Got high-tech industry, cool. Motorized siege corps done. Mechanized. Let's see. No, we got a lot of things to do. Stress the need for more research. Console's fine. You're fine. Alright, new research. Let's go ahead and pick up... I don't know. High-speed rail. Let's get ourselves some... I don't know. Armored infantry army. Roaming thieves. Give me my support to deal with them. Success. Roaming thieves. Deal with them. Sure, we'll help. We got the money. Send envoys. Success. Cool. Shining Doctrine. And appoint you to lead that brigade. The first armored. Okay. Let's think on this. Where's the anti-aircraft? There's the anti-aircraft gun. Assuming it's up here, so it's got to be down here. Let's try out my theory. Not expecting return fire. Let's hit him. Well, that was correct. No return fire. Alright. Made a little dent. Let's see if we can get some peace going. Let's propose peace with these guys. Must have a relation score regime. Okay. Give them 1,000 credits. Let's see. Overture of peace. No. Let's try this. Critical success. 14. So to propose peace, we need a decent amount. So maybe another gift next turn might help. Hold that position. Stop them there. Come on, Imperium. Get off your ass. Let's do a standard air attack. Still don't think we got, well, 4.5 to 1. Let's give it a shot. It's not looking like it. Nope. Okay. Let's do this. Let's get these guys over. Here. Alright. We get the armor over here. Then we'll bring them down, try and pacify this whole section so we can get troops over here, try and pacify this. Be a bit more proactive than defensive, as we have been so far. Let's check replenishment numbers. Okay, things are getting replenished. That's good. Let's make sure we've got... no, we've got 100 spare. Okay. We get that. Then I think that's it for this turn. Things are being built. Yeah, railheads are being built. The new cores being rounded out. I think they're basically at full strength. So that's good. But looking at the time, we're over for this episode. So, thank you for joining me for this episode. If you'd like to, please leave a comment down below, hit the like button. If you want to support the channel, hit the subscribe button down below, as well as take a look at the description down below, where I have links to my Discord and Patreon page. But I'll see all of you in the next episode. Bye!